Hi, Julie.
Hi, Tina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I love your Christmas spirit.
Thanks. This is ugly because it looks it's
It's all
like
lit up. It's beautiful.
fine. Okay, because it's kind of bugging me. I don't know. Like when I'm looking at the lights, it's like it's but we'll leave it for now. Yeah.
No, you look like a beautiful Christmas angel, is what you
Oh,
look like.
oh, thank you.
Right? You don't feel like one you're saying in that face.
No, no, I kind of feel like a goofball or out of place.
Right. I know. It's the
Yeah,
energy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Right. But you
But you
don't
look
look like
very
one.
pretty. Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Thank
yeah.
you.
Oh,
So,
so we've
hello,
got people.
everybody.
Yeah,
Yes.
Julie. Yeah, Julie. Yeah. Oh, we've got a new person here. Hello, Hope.
Hi, Hope.
Yeah, and Lynn's here.
Click
Hi,
on
Lynn.
this so I can see. Hi, Lynn. Oh,
Yeah.
there. Yes. Hi, guys. So, yeah, we have no idea what we're going to talk about today, but it's Christmas week, and we know that everyone is trying to uh, be hopeful and cheerful, and that's not always the case.
No,
You're not always feeling that way.
no, 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 you're not.
And
And
right. And if you are, there's a guilt kind of attached to it, it's been such a hard year for everyone. So and it hasn't been a bad year for me, honestly. Aside from the fear of COVID and Donald Trump and the election and those fears still happening, that was a lot of fear instilled in us in the US. I had a really good year, and I've learned a lot this past year, and I'm finding myself very appreciative this year, very appreciative of what I've been through, what I've accomplished, kind of like a yes moment that we all have. You accomplished something, you did it. And my parents are here and they're healthy, and COVID hasn't really affected them, thank God. I'm very
right.
lucky too. So I'm just feeling very, very appreciative.
Well, that's wonderful. That's a good way to be, and I think you should celebrate that and share that with the world, right?
Yes, right. But then I
Because
feel guilty. Then I feel guilty
yeah,
because everybody else is having a hard time and they're not feeling that. So how do you share with others who, it's not, I don't want to be like in your face.
yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
who does that
yeah.
help?
I know there's that fine balance because if you're in a space like where you are, and then those around you aren't feeling that, you know, what's, how do you, do you compromise? Yeah. Or do you discount or bring your energy down to meet them? Right. That's the other thing. Right.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone, and I think that's why, we picked this topic of like welcome to my world, because it's not just about like us individually, but like everyone, their world has been shaken up this past year, and it's like where are you now? Because we're near the end of December, so it's common for people to stop and reflect back, like
Yes.
and what, where am I now? What does my, and it's like it's about your
Yeah.
world. How do you feel? What do you think?
Right.
What do you believe in? What's all those
Yes.
things. So it's like we have to, I think we want to kind of convey like everyone, what you're going through or what you feel or what you think, it matters, that's
Right.
your world, right? And it
Right.
counts for something. And we shouldn't have to discount or
Yeah.
how we feel or what we believe in, right? So it's like, okay,
Exactly.
can we embrace, and share
Right.
the love and share goodwill at this time, even though we're all at odds and may think differently and believe different things. So it's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, can we share and understand each other? Yeah.
Yes. And that's really difficult during COVID times too, because we don't have any physical interaction with each other right now. Like my mom is saying online that she misses hugging me. And there's nothing more that I miss in my world right now is hugging my
Yeah.
mom. There's no safer place in my life than in my mom's arms, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I miss those things, but you're also exchanging energy that way. And you can't do that through
Yeah.
through a line like we're on right now. You know, we can
Yeah.
exchange words and emotions
Right.
and feelings, but we're not exchanging energy, and that happens on a physical, of course, basis. So
Yeah.
that's a real loss.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, and people are going to do what they're going to do. I feel.
Yeah.
Right. So COVID or no COVID,
Yeah.
people, if they're going to want to hug each other, they're going to do that,
Yes, of course. Yeah.
despite what, everyone
Yeah.
believes or says.
Right.
So we just, so in a way it's like, okay, you don't have to agree with it, but just maybe, I'm come to understand, and it's just like, that's their business, right? I guess, or
Yeah.
just try not to get caught up in the
Well, yeah.
negativity or
Yeah.
the fear of it, right? If you don't
Right.
agree or find out such. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly right. Try to stay in your own world too, because you have these beliefs that have been formed from your human experience, you know, and that's what I feel like this age of Aquarius that everyone's talking about is this awakening that's happening. We've constructed these beliefs. You know, when I was a little girl, I was bullied. I was the fat
Oh,
girl always, you know,
oh,
since I was 10 years old. I was the fat girl, but not only was I the fat girl, I was the tallest girl. I'm about 6 foot tall. So my maiden name is Adams, and they used to call me Julie Fatums. You know, this is how it
oh,
started. But there's this choice here, honestly, because that's the way this victim mentality starts in life. Is somebody calls you a name like Julie Fatums, and what do you do with that information? You're going to use what you see. Like my mom would always, wait for me to. My mom would always just, she was the best. My mom is the best mom in the whole freaking world. But she would join Weight Watchers and say, look how fun this is. Do you want to do this with me? You know what I mean? My
oh,
mom never put that on me because it was always my choice to be fat. I think I understood that even as a teenager. I didn't blame a medical issue. I didn't blame anyone for being fat. I took responsibility for being
oh,
fat. It was my choice to be fat. Or I could change it. I knew I was strong enough to change it. So I think that's where this victim mentality comes into, though. I could have used that and said, it's not my fault I'm fat. I have a medical issue, or I have a different house than you, or we eat differently than you. You know what I mean? I could have used all these excuses when you're being bullied, but it's this victimizer thing that starts as a teenager. You know what I mean? And then you carry that. So you have these beliefs, these constructed beliefs from your own personal experience. You know, that's where we're at right now, is everyone trying to fight for their beliefs and what they lived and how that affected them. And that's so important to really recognize and critical think about yourself and where these beliefs come from, because
yeah,
they're limiting beliefs, they're self-sabotage beliefs, and what you're doing is arguing for your limitations at this point. And you're never going to get up that mountain if you just say how hard that mountain is. You will never get up that mountain. It's one step at a time and one lesson at a time,
yeah,
so that's where it gets hard with tribal mentality and group mentality, when everyone is saying, this is the way you do it, this is what's going to happen.
mm-hmm,
It's Everyone just feels left out. They just feel left out. They feel like, well, everyone's awakening but me, and what's wrong with me? And I've
yeah,
always been this way. And, it's not my fault. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah,
So it's kind of a victim mentality.
yeah. And it's interesting because so Lynn made a comment here. So today is December 21st, the age of Aquarius. And she put exclamation marks and question marks. And it's like, and we were talking about this,
Yes.
you and I, when we have our chat.
Yeah.
And it's like inundated. We're inundated with,
Yeah.
and so we're inundated, with COVID stuff. We're inundated with the age of Aquarius and this big conjunction with the planets happening today as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't,
Yeah.
and it's
It's
like, you know
everywhere.
what? It's not like I'm not saying it's not true or not. I'm just like tired. I just
Yeah.
want, it's overwhelming, I think, because it's like everyone's on this bandwagon.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? And it's at times it's like, you know what? I just want to shut everything down and just be my quiet own little world and go about my quiet
Hmm.
own little business. And it's like, I don't want that to like, it's almost like the way they're making it, it's like it's going to be this huge impact, or you've got to pay attention, or you've got to believe in this, or you got to do this first to, you know, because
Yeah.
that's the other thing. It's like, you know, there's a lot of um in the spiritual community. So whether they're readers or healers or channelers, whatever, they're saying like, okay, this is sign up because, you know, we got to clear all this before you can make it to the next level. And when I sit with that, it's like, no, you don't have to do anything
Right.
special.
Yeah.
It's gonna come
Yeah.
no matter what you believe or feel or do or don't do, right? The
Yeah.
planets are gonna do their thing no matter what.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, life
You're not going
is
to stop
going
it.
to happen no matter what. Like, so don't try not to get caught up in it, is I guess what I want to say, or feel like, you know, am I awake or not awake? Am I being left behind or am I with the, you know, it's
Yeah.
like, you know what, you guys just take a breath and
Yeah.
relax, right? That's
Yeah.
how I
It's
want to put
all
it,
in.
right?
Yeah.
It's, oh my God. Because I was saying to you, it's like, you know, yeah, it's like,
It's
it's too much.
overwhelming. It
It is.
is.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Lynn. Yeah, it's overwhelming. It is. And it's too much on you. It's too many ways push me, pull me energy too. And you just don't even have a chance to think for yourself anymore. You know, you got to
Yeah.
critically.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah. And it's like, even like, you know, well, both of us, we're into psychic stuff, right? And we do psychic stuff. And even I catch myself, it's like, you know what? I don't even want to tune in and
Me either.
and and figure out the energies right now, because I'm just craving peace and quiet, because it just feels like
Yeah,
there's a lot of noise
yeah,
and it's getting to me. Plus, I don't know how many people out there, but when you feel sensitive, like this is a hard time of the year, because it's like, you know, myself, like this is the hardest time of the year for me, because it's like I pick up on all the sadness, the angst, even the suicides
yeah,
energy this time,
yeah.
because because I think it spikes this time of year, suicides and the sadness and that.
It does.
So I really pick up on that, and it's like, you know, I
Yeah,
have to be extra careful. So it's like I don't like to
yeah,
go out as much. I don't like to engage on different sites as much. It's like I want to veg out, or like try to, I know it's like I'm trying to escape, but it's like I need to, for my own sanity, because it's overwhelming for me,
it is. I know.
right? It's
I
too much.
loved our
And I
message. I love I loved our message last week. Stand your middle ground. You know, Lynn
yeah,
is reminding us we've got to stand that middle ground because the extremists, like you're saying, it's too overwhelming. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
even the spiritual community are on this extreme. You know, the pendulum always swings, doesn't it? It
yeah,
always swings. Why does it go from, you know, you've got equality and injustice, and it just swings so far to each side until we can finally, you know, age after age, year after year, get those closer together, you know, equality and injustice. But it takes time. It's not the age of Aquarius, and this transformation is not happening overnight. You know what I
no,
mean? It took,
no,
when did anything happen like that in history, you know?
no,
And,
it
and
doesn't.
another thing is, when did fear lead us out of any kind of age? You know, it never did. And we've got to rid ourselves of that fear of change, because change is scary. You know, you hear change is coming, and that doesn't instill comfort, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's yeah, and it's interesting to, yeah, so I do agree with you, like this age of Aquarius, the way some people talk, it's like whoosh, here we go, bang. It's
Yeah,
here.
we're going to be
Wonderful things
transformed.
are starting.
Yeah,
Yeah, like all is good. Like good things are arriving today. And it's not
right.
that. And it's like this
No,
um I was reading, like everyone has their favorites, right? So I have a couple of favorite astrologers that I follow.
Yeah.
And they're my favorites because I appreciate the realism of their writings.
Yes.
So it's like they will explain it where it's like, this is how it fits in our day-to-day world,
Yeah.
or this is what it means, for you, and the challenges and the gifts. Like they
Right.
weigh all that, and it's like I really appreciate that, because that's life. It's
Yes.
not all, roses and unicorns and fairy dust, right? Not
Right.
yet. I don't know if that will ever
Not
come to
yet.
be, but with this age of Aquarius, the way everyone's talking, but it's, so it's like, we need something to help us, navigate, or bring our spirits up, or, help
Yes.
us, grow, or, achieve whatever,
Right.
and
Oh,
there's
absolutely. Yes.
some that write stuff or share stuff. It's like, I don't know how
It's
to
not
explain it.
useful.
Well, not useful. And I think they paint a picture where um, it's not all inclusive, or it makes it out where, like, if you don't do this, or you don't believe in these things, you're left behind, or you're not going to
Yeah.
make it to the next level, or make it, or
Right.
elevate. And it's like,
Yes.
that doesn't sit well with me. It's like, no one's going to get left behind.
Yeah.
There's no one
Right.
better than the other. That's the other thing I don't appreciate.
Right.
The other,
Well,
right?
it's fear mongering. It's fear mongering. No
Yeah,
matter, you've got these people, and they're just people. They're human beings, and they tell you that they can get you a ticket to heaven, and they come in all shapes and sizes, and they say, just
yeah,
give me this, and I will ensure your salvation. But they're
yeah,
humans doing this, and so this worshiping kind of got to change too. We can't worship, we can't have these false idols either.
yeah.
And the spiritual community is not innocent of this.
No, no. And it makes me wonder too, because, I was bringing this up with you earlier. The spiritual community has really been pissing me off.
I know.
Like, it's just like, ooh, am I ever getting mad with them, right? And it's like, I'm not
Yeah.
agreeing with a lot of what they're saying and sharing, and it doesn't feel
Yeah.
light and love. It's like they're pointing the fingers, and they're saying, look what we're losing out. And it's like, if you're part of the spiritual community, that's not being spiritual, that's not being light and love. Like, so for
Right.
example, like the big news, I don't know how many communities out there have strict restrictions for the Christmas time, but like where I live,
Yeah.
um, you know, I'm not allowed to visit anyone or spend Christmas Day with anyone,
Yeah.
because I'm not part of, different people's households, right? I live on my own.
Yeah.
So the spiritual community would say, like, oh, you're losing your freedom, and they're taking away this or taking away that. And it's like, no, listen, stop.
Yeah.
Okay, how many people have been saying for years that Christmas is a farce, or Christmas is a big marketing scheme, or
Yeah.
Christmas is this or that? So now we have this opportunity to celebrate Christmas in a different fashion, and start new
Right.
traditions, and you know and they're not looking at it that way. You see what I mean? So
No,
it's
I do.
interesting. Like, they're pointing out things and accusing, like, what we're losing. It's like, well, isn't this what you pointed, like, want, maybe? Or this is something that you were trying to fight against before, and now that it's here, presenting itself in this way, maybe that's the thing with, being
Yeah.
elevated or enlightenment. It's like, it doesn't happen in the way you think or want it to happen.
Right.
So COVID,
Yes.
essentially, okay, COVID, whether you believe it's real or not, I don't care, is
Yeah.
a gift, in the sense it's like, okay, it's elevating us as a
Yeah.
as a collective. It's enlightening us as a collective. It's just
Right.
happening in different ways and different manners, right?
Yes.
So,
Well,
and
yeah.
it's not
And I
to
think
our
that's what the
liking.
transformation is.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what enlightenment is. It doesn't help. It doesn't happen in a way that you like it to happen. It
Right.
can be painful. It can be challenging, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what it's doing. Like we're being challenged, and it's like, okay, it's time to create, and it's time to
Yeah. Time to create new memories and new things, right?
yeah,
Yes.
and be and be welcoming. It's like, okay, let's welcome in, okay, more peace, and what does that encompass, and what does that entail?
Right.
And
Yeah.
let's welcome in more goodwill, and like everyone is like complaining and excuse my language, bitching about this and that, especially this, because it's Christmas week, or holiday time.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, for some of them, it's like, isn't this what you always wanted? And now that
Careful
it's
what you wish for.
showing up, yeah, now that it's showing up, it's no good.
Right.
Like
Exactly right. Yeah.
work with it, or yeah, what are you going
Yeah.
to do about it, right? That's what I want to
Well,
go with that. Yeah.
I think that's where I was going with arguing for your limitations, because you're still looking for something to blame of why you can't find well-being in your life, and so you just keep arguing for these limitations,
Yeah.
and yeah. Hi, Arlene. I see you. Yeah, she just popped in.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Oh, let's see what Lynn says. We are not allowed to go. No one's. Oh, yeah. So she's not allowed to go to anyone's house either, and vice versa.
wow, that's a huge find, Lynn. So I'm going to try to show this. It's probably going to cover our faces.
That's
So you
okay.
know that, yeah. So if you get reported, it's a fine of 7,500 to 10 grand. See, I don't agree with that,
That's
but
amazing.
that's huge. Like, so that's upsetting. That feels like a big, um,
Wow.
that's a
That's
big risk
amazing.
if anyone decides to break the rules, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, it instills fear when they start doing that. Once again, see, it's just it's this fear that's fear has never led us out of anything. So we've got to try to find a way around this fear, because that's frightening, right? To read that, to see that, it's upsetting. It is fear mongering.
yeah.
It's fear mongering. So there's fear mongering on both sides of the extreme, and that's why she's right. We got to stay in that middle, because there's too much fear, right? That's scary.
Mhm. Yeah, 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 it is. And I mean, I can't imagine for big families, this,
Yeah.
especially if they're used to getting together. See, it's different for me. So, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Um, so even though my family is big, like as far as aunts, uncles, cousins, most of them are in the Eastern Canada. And my brother and I grew up in Western Canada. So we had no family. It was just us. So
Yeah.
we were accustomed to Christmas was a quiet time. Like there wasn't a lot of fanfare. There was like no, we didn't celebrate it with family or lots of family, right?
Yeah.
So we're accustomed to that. I mean, like, yes, it would be nice we can get together, but we can't. It's okay. Like we're not caught up in it because
Yeah.
our world, that's our world. We're accustomed to celebrating it quietly or without much
Yeah.
fanfare. But then
Yeah.
I have to understand, okay, it's not like that for everyone,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, okay,
Well, yeah.
right? So it's like, okay, what can you do to ease the hurt or the disappointment, right?
Right.
Try to shift it. It's like, how can we make
Yeah.
this better in some way? It's not going to be the same. Of course it's not, but get
Right.
over that. Get over like it's not the same. We have to like stop doing that. And it's like, okay, so what's next? How can we make light of this? Or how can we infuse love in this? That's how I want to say, like, bring in
Yeah.
welcoming energies instead of, being down all about it. Like, okay, how can we make this shine or, fun for
Yeah.
everyone? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my mom would say this. My mom's been this like like this forever because she's a giver. And my mom has always given at Christmas. And that has been my gift to watch, you know, the perspectives that she has changed with her giving. She's taken in strangers. She's fed people. She's given money to people. She gives her time to people. I said this on this author's website because she is a miracle, my mom. But she's saying, you know, if you've had get-togethers and they've been big family get-togethers, spend that money anyway. Give to families who are alone, like, you know, they don't have their regular, you know, herd around them, and it's scary. And give to them. You know, it is a reciprocal gift, you know, because that helps everybody. And if we can get that momentum going too, because that brings peace. And so give,
you know,
too, and manage your expectations as well. That's a big part of it too, because that's been my problem too throughout Christmas, throughout the years. I have all these expectations. My birthday, it's why I hate my birthday. It's why I hate, you know, because I romanticize everything, and I have all these expectations, and who's going to live up to freaking that, you know? So right,
that's
so
true.
it's important.
And like that's a good way of looking at Christmas this year. It's like, okay, for how many years have we given into the pressure of Christmas, like defined by the marketing world or defined by the shopping centers? Defined, right? And it's like, this is a year, you know, people, you know, can change that, right?
Well, absolutely, yeah.
And then this is also like, you know, okay, a lot of the talk, especially with this age of Aquarius, you know, awakening. Everyone wake up, people are asleep. And it's like, you know,
so rude.
Awakening, okay, this is my belief, okay? Awakening doesn't always relate to the big things in life or the bad things in life. Like, let's say, like, you know, you hear about a celebrity or, you know, a conglomerate, you know, when they were doing all these bad things. And it's like, see, people awaken, like this isn't the underworld, awaken to it. And it's like, no, awakenings can happen all the time. They go out throughout history is what I want to say. And the way some people are making Age of Aquarius, like it's like this huge awakening. And I'm not discounting that. It's just that, like, take it like this week, okay, again about Christmas. So people are going to awaken to the fact like, oh, this is what it feels like to celebrate Christmas on your own. Or this is what it feels like to celebrate Christmas without family around. Or left, you know, so you're awakening to that fact or to that experience, that feeling. Because there's, you know, how many people who've celebrated, you know, time and time again. So awakening is not always associated with the big and bad things. It can be, you know, positive. It's, you know, the little things in our lives. It happens all the time. We're constantly awakening, right?
Well,
so that's how I want to put it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Is there anything more subjective than an awakening? I mean, that's purely subjective and individual. So, and that's what adds to the collective awakening. So it's not that the collective is awakening and you're part of this awakening and that you'll be pulled along with this awakening with the crowd. You're part of the awakening. With every awakening you have, like, I've been working from home for a year. Well, I like that. That's a kind of an awakening for me. I really like working from home, you know, and that's an awakening of your personal life, that's what you prefer. So that adds to the collective's awakening. So you are that awakening. It's not happening and you're outside of it. You are encompassed in this awakening.
Right. And you probably are like not alone in that. Like how many thousands or millions of people feel that.
Everyone.
So it's like, so you're going to be part of a group that will be like, how can we make this permanent? Or how can we make, you know, work now? And and that's what awakening is about. And it's like, it's not necessarily going to last for the, you know, the rest of, and it doesn't mean it's set in stone because people are worried like, oh, now, you know, everyone's going to be working from home from days on end for years and years. It's like, no, it doesn't mean that.
No.
right?
Absolutely. It
It's
changes so
just like,
quickly.
yeah, it just means like maybe we're, opening. I'd rather say opening. We're opening to
I
the
like that
idea
too.
of like, some people, it's a better fit for them. They prefer working from home, so let's make that happen. And then some people, they want to work out of an office in a group environment. Let's make that happen, or they can do that. That's
They will make it
I
happen, right?
I yeah. So I feel, I'm not an astrologer, an expert, so I feel the age of Aquarius is an opening, because I feel
Yes.
Aquarian energy is ideas, right? It's ideas
Yeah.
and the future, and like, so it's like, okay, we're opening up to multitude ideas and multiple ways of doing things. It's like, whereas
Yeah.
before it's like we're set, everyone follows this and everyone follows
Right.
that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like this age of Aquarius is about, okay, everything's going to count, everything will matter. There's more than one way. There's, more than
Yeah.
more
Multiple.
than one
Yeah.
belief. Yeah. Yeah.
There's multiple streams. Abraham Hicks
Yeah.
talks about the streams of life and that flowing in and out effortlessly. When you're on
Yeah.
in the stream, when you're paddling upstream, that's really hard. It really is. But when you just let go and you go with that stream,
Yeah.
everything opens up for you, and all these channels open up for you as well, because you stop that limiting belief once again
Yeah.
of how far can I go. Because right now, all of us are saying, well, I can do this, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, life experience changes those ideas for you as you go along this stream. So, and then you're
Yeah.
taking these little channels that way, this way, that way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Arlene says she was supposed to go help her mom move in Saskatchewan, and she's not sure because arthritis stepped in to hold me back.
oh, it's bad right
So,
now with cold.
so that's
Yeah.
upsetting, but look at it as a gift. There's a reason why. Because at times, even though when we don't see it right away, we don't feel it. It's like the universe is trying to help us. So there's a reason why it's
Yeah.
delayed or you can't go. If that's the case,
Yeah.
Arlene, try not to take it
Yeah.
personally. I know it's easier said than done. Yeah.
Well, and it's so painful, arthritis. I have arthritis in my shoulders, and it's so painful. It's so limiting. It's just frustrating because you can't do anything you used to do, and so you just get into that mode. But it will go away. It'll ease up for you. Maybe you just can't help her right now, but you'll be able to help her. In the future, it's going to go away. But it's hard to think that way when you're in the midst of that kind of pain. It's horrible. I hate that. I really do, Arlene. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. 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 Nobody else
But
has any comments. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead, Julie.
I was just gonna say, were you gonna go help her for Christmas? You know what I mean? Was that Chris? Does anyone have anything like that they're doing different? Or
Yeah.
I'm curious how people are feeling during this week. Are you feeling optimistic? Are you feeling scared? Or what are the emotions going around? I kind of got a gambit last Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was in a great mood. I was in such a great mood last Wednesday morning. And then something out of the blue hit me, and I was sobbing. I felt such sadness, and I couldn't figure out why. I really couldn't. I had some, things at work, of course, that I work, doing trusts and wills and things like that. So I had some loss, but it was weird. It was really weird. It lasted for a couple of days. I just couldn't get out of it. So I didn't know if I was picking up on, how about you? What have you been feeling?
So sadness. So
Sadness.
so I was doing well. I thought, whew, like I'm, just
I did
cruising
it.
along. Yeah, like I'm cruising along. I'm not like past years picking up on, because it's not an easy time of year for me as a psychic or intuitive, right? Like, because yeah.
Yeah.
And same thing last Wednesday, it hit me. And
Yeah.
and since then, and I can't seem to shake it. It's like I want to cry, and I'm feeling really down in the dumps about life. I'm
Yeah.
picking up suicide. So I pick up on a lot of suicide thoughts. So it's like I don't want to be here anymore. Life's not worth living. Life hasn't turned out or isn't what to my liking. So I don't want to, like all these things, and it's
Yeah.
just really
Yeah.
hard. Like I'm just like, that's why I don't want to say I'm a bah humbug, but Christmas is not a favorite time of year for me.
Yeah.
And like, and I try to distract myself. So it's like, okay, I try to listen to music. I try to um, look at Christmas lights, or I'll try to go for a walk, depending on the weather, right? So go for
Yeah.
walks,
Right.
or
Yeah.
distract myself, like watching, certain TV shows or movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can never seem to quite master like
Yeah.
shaking it off completely, where I'm just, because you know how some
Hard.
people like Christmas is the be all end all of the year for them, like they're just in this super happy celebrating place, and it's like, good
Yeah.
for you. Like, how do you do that? Like, I can,
Well,
I just can't.
right. It's hard to find ways, but look at what my Aunt Joy is saying. Here's my Aunt Joy, but she's saying following ancient Mexican traditions is special to me. Beginning the season of forgiveness today. Oh my God. Like what a way to get yourself out of sadness, right?
Yeah, so
Is
I'm curious
forgiveness,
now, so I'll want to look up what the Mexican traditions are. Well,
right?
how does your
It's
aunt know
wonderful.
about that? Like, does she live close to Mexico or something, or in a
So
community?
most of her family is Mexican. Well, her daughter is married to Mexican, and
Oh,
so they have a
okay.
lot of Mexican family members. So she knows
Traditions.
a lot about it actually, and a lot of the American Indian stuff. She's into those traditions as well too. I don't know
Yeah.
if she has any, familiar links, but
Yeah, I'll have to look that up, because now it's like,
yeah,
if that's going to help me, then it's going to help me, right? And I mean, I
right,
grew up to like, I mean, every culture is different too, right? And every family's different. So my family, Christmas Eve is bigger than Christmas Day.
yeah. That's how we've always been too.
And then it's interesting, but then New Year's is bigger than Christmas
Yes, I love New
for
Year's.
some
Yeah,
reason. So I have an aunt. She's not upset about Christmas, like, because she lives in an area where there's tough restrictions too. So she can't have anybody over for Christmas,
oh,
because there's
yeah,
two in their household, and that's the limit, two,
yeah,
where she lives. Yeah.
yeah.
So she's not upset about Christmas, because it's like, like I said, in our family, Christmas, it's a pretty occasion, but it's not a huge deal, right? But New
Right.
Year, she's really, really upset about. Like, she's bummed that the family can't get together and celebrate like they usually do, because New Year's is a
Yeah.
huge deal in our family.
Oh, I'm sorry for her. Yeah.
So,
Horrible.
yeah, I know.
And
And go
and it's
ahead.
different when you're older. Like my mom is saying that they're going to
Yeah,
be alone this year too, but she's saying she never feels alone. Her and my dad
yeah,
have really gotten through this together. They've been married 65 years and have counted on each other through everything.
yeah,
But when you're feeling alone and that's what you've done and you're older, they're my mom and dad are older, and so it's not fair for this to happen to them at this time. It's just so unfair, and
right.
like your aunt, and it's just so unfair. And there's
Yeah,
nothing else to say about it. I just have to say that, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. And they're
Yeah.
looking like, yeah, and some older people, like my aunt, she's 93.
Oh, see,
And
right?
she's
That's
like,
great.
she says at my age, she says, I'll die at any moment. She says, I can die at any moment, especially at my age. I mean, anyone can
Yeah,
die at any moment, but she's like,
I
at my
know.
age, she says, especially. So she says,
Yeah,
I don't understand why the government says I have to do this or do that, because she says,
yeah. It's
I
hard for her.
this could be my last breath, and I want to be able to do this or have this in my life. So it's like, I can understand her reasoning.
Yeah,
And it's like, so yeah, so what do they do? Do they rebel? And
exactly.
I mean,
Right.
like, and I feel like there's going to be people, no matter the restrictions or the rules or the
Yeah.
warning, people are going to do what they're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
And
Absolutely. Yeah.
so,
And
yeah,
just not let's just be careful of the judging. These are new
Yeah,
times.
that's right.
These are very unique, and let's just be careful of the judging, because it doesn't make anyone feel good,
Yeah.
to judge, and just keep it
No,
in the
it
middle.
yeah. So that's why we have to like, you know, just try to understand and just send them light and love if you know, or don't
Absolutely.
know, or ignore it.
Oh, exactly.
Choose to ignore it, right?
Isn't that what
Yeah.
forgiveness is all about? It doesn't mean reconciliation. It doesn't mean you have this person back in your life, or these people or these things back in your life, but you wish them well, and that's forgiveness. You just wish them well and you move on.
Mhm.
That's what forgiveness is all about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Lynn's been feeling the same way, so
Yeah.
that's
See, Lynn,
that's good. See, we're not alone. See,
we're
that's
not
welcoming.
alone, Lynn.
It's welcoming because yeah, because sometimes too, I find this disturbing is like people say, well, you should be feeling like this and you should do this, and it's like, sometimes can you just like acknowledge how we're feeling
Yeah.
or come to understand where we're coming from, and we'll get over it.
Right. Yeah, it's very
Or,
dismissive. Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, it's like we don't count, or what we
Yeah.
feel we shouldn't be feeling, like there should be, again, shame or guilt. And
Yeah.
it's,
Right.
yeah, it's not,
That's right.
you're not being, yeah, it's like, be welcoming, like understand our point of view. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Your Aunt Joy said, oh, I don't know how to pronounce that word.
I don't either. I was looking
Corandrism.
at it.
That's a long
She's
word. I've
she's
never
just trying
heard
to
of
make
it.
us look stupid.
I'm gonna have to look up the meaning of that word.
Yeah, me too.
Corandrism, the healing art is good. And Lakota is her
Dakota,
adopted
my
nation.
adopted nation. I knew she was a big part of that. Yeah. She's been following them forever. Yeah, she's a big part of the nation.
Oh, okay. Where is the
Yeah.
Lakota? Isn't that
It's a good
like in the
question.
Midwest? I don't know. See
Wow,
what?
that's a good guess. Hi, Nicole. Nicole is here.
Oh
Oh,
my
she got
gosh, you got it
COVID-19
twice.
twice. Wow. This will end. Uh, I'm
Oh,
so sorry,
Nicole.
Nicole. Damn.
Oh, that's,
South Dakota.
see, that's
You were
good to know,
thinking, yeah.
because Nicole, I don't know if you know this, I tested positive for COVID too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here she got it
Um,
twice. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like I'm hoping, like I'm with you, I'm hoping um it will like, yeah, it will like, boost our immune system, make our immune system
Yes.
stronger and make us immune to
Right.
COVID, like in the future.
Yeah.
And I also too, Nicole, I think like this is my thinking. I don't know if it's true or not, but I like to go down that road with COVID. Like it's giving us a superpower.
Yes. Right. And
So just think, Nicole, like you're gaining a superpower.
yeah, right. That's right.
Yeah.
We're part of the club. And I was reading, Michael was telling me about this scientist that was talking about the virus itself, this novel coronavirus, and why it's so dangerous. And he was saying anything a novel coronavirus comes in, the virus comes in, and it doesn't know what it can do to survive. So it attacks very aggressively in the systems to reproduce, to recreate itself. But then it starts to learn what's killing the host. So it starts to back itself off for its own survival, because if it kills its host, it can't survive anymore. So it starts to adapt and learn. And there's this new strain that's coming out in the UK, I think, why the lockdowns are so hard right now is because there's this new strain that's more contagious. But the scientists are saying it's less dangerous because it's already, this new strain has learned how to adapt to not kill its host so that it can continue to survive. So I thought, oh, that makes so much sense, because they talk about herd immunity and things. It's both parties adapting and evolving in this attack of the virus, because it is a living thing and it's trying to survive. It's surviving. So I thought that was so interesting, and it really made me feel better about the adaptation of this virus and how it learned how to not kill. It's learning how to not kill its host.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too. A few articles saying in the UK. And I don't know if it's just my head right now, but it's like going right over me. I try to read it and it's like, I don't understand. I'm dumb. that's how
No.
that's how I feel right
No,
now. I do.
no,
Yeah,
don't feel
I'm
that way
really,
either.
and I think that's part of me, sorry to interrupt, being down in
No,
the
no.
dumps, you know, and I
Yeah,
just
feeling
like,
inadequate. Yeah.
yeah, I just want a cocoon. I want my mummy, and that's what I want.
Right. That's exactly right. I know your mummy is hugging you right now, but just like mine, you can't physically feel it, but mine's hugging me too, Tina. She's there with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm surprised I
But
haven't
it
cried
is,
yet because I've
but
been
those
feeling
things are
like
comforting
crying.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just,
See, I'm
I
feeling
think,
really out of that sadness, thank God.
well, that's good.
Go ahead. What were you saying? Yeah.
I was going to say
What
that
do you think though?
I just, I just like, I just feel like, I just want to get off this merry-go-round. That's
Yeah.
what I want.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, just get through these next 2 weeks, Tina, as best as you can. And
Yeah.
then we'll see how I feel. That's how I want to go, right? So it's almost like part of me is like, okay, honor
Wonderful.
your feelings, but um, try what can I do to keep, myself kind of uplifted or
Yeah.
cheer myself up or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to put it. I don't know anymore. That's how
I
I feel. I don't know. I don't always have all the
I'm with you.
answers.
I rarely have any answer. But
Oh,
that's a great way to look at it.
I think you're quite insightful
Oh,
and
thank
wise.
you.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I think you are too. So right back at
I
you.
don't know.
You you are too. And you will get through this, and that's a great way to do it. You're going easy on yourself instead of punishing yourself that you should be feeling Christmassy or you should be feeling a certain way. You're not doing that to yourself, and that's the best thing of all.
Yeah,
That's the best gift you can give yourself, is
yeah.
to not sabotage yourself,
I know.
that we all
Yeah.
do.
And if it was up to me, like I'd be on a beach somewhere. I say that every
Right?
Christmas. I want to
Yeah.
celebrate Christmas on the beach. I did one year and it was the best. It's like I
Love it.
loved
Oh,
it
I
because it
bet.
was like I didn't have to cook. No one had to really cook. No one had to clean. It was simple. It was fun. Like it was so relaxed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
so
love
that
that. All you got to do is
maybe,
put on your wave music, the meditation waves, and shut your eyes and just put yourself there. That's all we
yeah,
can do this year.
maybe next year. That's what I keep saying. Maybe next year.
Right? You never know. Change is
Yeah,
the only constant. So, hey, I
I
heard a
know.
bell. That was
Oh, that was
confirmation,
my pen. Yeah. Well, my pen
right?
accidentally. I have my pen in my hand. I'm very nervous. That's what I'm feeling
Me
today
too.
too. Like I'm
Me
very
too.
antsy. Like I gotta
Yeah.
have something in my hand. I'm like jittery.
Yeah.
So I'm
I've been
wondering if
rubbing my
people are
hands.
nervous
Me too.
too. If
Maybe.
people are nervous too. I don't know. I don't know how people are feeling out there. Everyone's gone quiet in the conversation room. So,
Yeah, what the hell, guys? Way to leave us hanging. They've grown bored with
yeah.
us.
Yeah. And then yeah, it's interesting because well, you're in Arizona, but I'm in
Yeah.
Alberta, and it's like, boy, do I hope we get pounded with snow this week because it's like
Yes.
I think that will help. I know it's like okay, it's not fun for going out or traveling, but it's like that will help. I think
Oh, yeah, because you'll be
calm
forced to
people down.
stay in. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people will be like, oh, I'm glad I'm not here or there or have to go out, right? Because of the weather or the roads. So, that's one
Absolutely.
reason. And it's nice to have a white Christmas. I don't
Oh, I
know.
miss it. I miss it
Yeah.
so much. Oh, God, yes. We lived in Florida for 7 years before. Here it's been 20 years since I've had a white Christmas. It's been a
Yeah.
long time.
Arlene, she says, honor yourself. I'm tired of all the fanfare that goes with Christmas. I don't want to cook, clean, get gifts. Yes. And I think that's COVID,
Yeah.
where the people that are complaining, COVID is like ruining Christmas. No, COVID can, let's turn it around. Let's welcome and say, like, COVID is changing or maybe creating a world that we've always wanted deep down, right?
Yeah, maybe.
And I think
Maybe.
a lot of, there's people that aren't looking at that way, or they're fighting against it. And it's like, okay, let's, whether COVID is true or not, it's like we can use this as a gift, as an opportunity to create and start living the life we want.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that's how we should go into 2021.
Yes. And don't let anything ruin any Christmas for you. You know what I mean? If you've always loved Christmas, my mom's saying she still loves Christmas, still love
Yeah,
Christmas. Don't
that's right.
feel guilty for loving Christmas either. I love Christmas, and I'm feeling more and more peaceful, more and more appreciative. I'm finding myself honoring myself more, what I've accomplished. I'm reflecting more. I'm going back to my childhood and what kind of brought me to where I am today, more. And I'm feeling really good. And so if you've always been like that, just keep
Yeah,
finding those things to help you feel better. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. And this should be like, Arlene, it's like, you're tired of all the fanfare, then honor that. Like,
Honor that.
don't
Right.
cook, don't clean. Tell those
Exactly.
around you, like, guess what? Don't give me gifts. I'm not getting you gifts, and
Right.
stick to it. That's the thing,
Yes.
right?
Don't let guilt take
I
over.
know, and
Don't
you
do
feel
it.
like, the a bah humbug or the oddball because you're not,
Yeah.
doing
Right.
this because it's Christmas, or
That's
like
right.
all this pressure. Yeah, like a few years
Yeah.
ago, I stopped sending Christmas cards.
Yeah. Me
And
too.
I
I
know
know.
it
And I
was
love
hard.
cards.
The
Yeah.
first year it was hard because it's like, oh, I should have, because they sent me a card, and
Yeah.
like, there's all this guilt and
Oh,
second
yeah.
guessing. And it's
For
like,
sure.
I got to stick to it
Yeah.
because I
Right.
still love them. I still care about, they're still my thoughts, but I rather talk to them on the phone than sending a
Yeah.
card, right?
Yes. I know. It's
So I
become that
think we
kind of
have to,
world. Yeah.
it's hard the first time, maybe the first couple of times, but it's like, you get used to it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love to put up lights too. I decorated my
Yeah.
outside. I decorated my out back and out front. I love it. I have this blue fairy walkway right now Michael created for me. Oh my God.
You should take a
But I have
picture
nothing in the house. I need to take a picture of it. I
and
need
share
to.
it.
But I
Yeah.
have a few things behind me. But as far we have
Yeah.
no tree, we have no lights anywhere, But we have 4 dogs too. But I
Yeah.
love the outside more. So I don't even care. I'm so thrilled.
Yeah. See, I'm like, so for years, I haven't put up a tree. I mean,
Right.
years, like,
Me too.
I think 18, 19 is when my family stopped.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give away my age, but it's years. Okay. It's over 20. And I don't, and it's, what I find, it's so much more relaxing. What I like, my favorite thing about Christmas are the outside lights. I love that.
Yes. Oh,
So
me and
I
Rosie
like
went go
walking
drive
or
and we watch.
driving through all the
Yes.
neighborhoods and looking at the lights. And I know, like,
Yeah.
some communities, like, they have like parks. You know how they have like a park
Yeah.
and like they'll
Yeah.
decorate it with lights too. Like, I like that too. I don't know if that's
So
happening
pretty.
this year. I haven't really
I
paid attention.
bet. Because
And
what
I
a better
know,
way to stay distant in your car. So I bet. We went the other night, Rosie and I, and everyone did so good. We were shocked. It was the best year yet because people are staying home. So it was
okay.
beautiful.
Yeah. And I know, like, so not where I live, but the big city I'm closest to is Calgary, and it's an hour south of where I live. So I've taken, like, my nieces in the past, like, to the zoo there because they have zoo lights, Christmas, yeah, at Christmas time,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's magical. So to see all,
Yes. Oh, God.
thousands and thousands of light displays, and it's
Oh,
magical.
yeah.
That's my favorite part. I feel that's where I get the magic, is the lights. And isn't it
Me too.
interesting, like the lights, like in the dark,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
How
Illumination. Yes.
prophetic that is, right? Yeah.
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 I love it
So
though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so Arlene said, yeah, so you mentioned that about she likes the lights and the decorations.
You're right.
Lynn, Oh, I did a reading a while ago and I kept hearing Christmas is canceled. Oh, see, I don't remember. Oh, well, thanks for the feedback. Yeah.
How good
Christmas
you
is
are.
canceled. Yeah. Arlene sounds fat. Oh, yeah. So I think she's going to contemplate, the advice of like, don't do all that then. Yeah. Enjoy the
Right.
lights. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy
Right.
the
Whatever you
lights.
want to
Yeah.
do. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get resistance for sure. Yeah, you're going to get resistance because people are used to you being you. And so when you vary from that, it causes fear in those around you. So please don't let that scare you away from doing what feels good to you, because of course they're going to balk. They're used to you doing things for them. They really are. They've counted on you to do that for them. And it's a real adjustment for them when you stop doing it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you need to stop doing it. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very important to take care of yourself and really create that boundary. It really is
Yeah.
important, or you just keep
Yeah.
going in that wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. So try to,
So
yeah. So
good for
try to look.
you. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not easy, especially when other people count on you or have this expectation of you doing the same thing, like putting on everything again year after year, right? And
Oh,
it's
yes.
a good lesson for them. Like,
Really is.
it's, hmm yeah. It's all,
Self-reliance.
look at, yeah, try to look at this week as, all the gifts, all the blessings, no matter
Yeah.
what it is, no matter how difficult or challenging, try to see the gift in it all or the blessings, like blessings in disguise. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's my words of advice as well. Just go through this week and find forgiveness, find peace, find uh, just a real sense of well-being. That momentum does get going when you find these nuggets of appreciation. It does start with that, what you're grateful for, and
Yeah.
it grows.
Yeah.
That's my
Exactly.
wish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any final words that you'd like to share?
Just Merry Christmas. We will get through this. We are at the home stretch of all the chaos, too. The vaccine is here, hell or high water. We're going to get through this virus, and it's adapting, and we're adapting, and we've survived. So just hang in there and don't give up hope. Hope and faith is the way to go into this new age, if we want to call it that.
Yeah. And I guess I want to say it's like, okay, let's start a new Christmas tradition.
Okay.
So if it's about celebrating the birth of Jesus, why don't you make a cake or have a dessert and put a birthday candle on it and make a wish,
Nice. Yeah. I
right?
love that.
Do something
Yeah.
fun, right? Like if
Yeah.
it's right, so it's like, okay, so just, yeah, make a wish, whether it's personal, like for yourself, or if it's something grander, like for the family or for the world. But yeah,
Yeah.
do something that day, try to celebrate something that day, no matter
Right.
what's going on in your world, what's missing or not, okay? And
Yes.
I guess, there's the other thing I want to say, it's like this week, it feels like very emotionally charged, and there's so much going on in the sense of like what people want to say and share during this time. And if it's too much for you, shut it off.
Right. Please.
Okay. Step away. You're not missing out. Don't, because I get that way too. It's like, well, if I don't
Yeah.
read this or if I don't look into this, I'm missing out. I'm missing something. And you know what I've come to become, learning about all this is, you're not missing out on anything. You're not,
No.
um, being lost in the crowd or being left behind if you don't read up or pay attention or listen to this, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if that helps.
Oh, it helps so much. Stay in the middle ground of forgiveness, peace, and love, Lynn says. And
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Find that balance because we're all in this together in the middle.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot of us here.
yeah,
There's
that's
a
right.
lot of us here.
Yeah. And, it just feels like there's a battle going on.
Yeah.
too, you know. And that's what I'm,
Well, yeah.
thanks, Lynn, for the reminder. Stay in the middle,
Yes.
through
We
all
don't have
this.
to
Like,
draw.
yeah. So if
Right.
that means you have to shut off the news or shut off Facebook, then you do. It's okay,
Yes.
right?
In
If
fact,
it
yes,
means,
it's encouraged. Put on
if it
Christmas
means
music.
like I'm not going to call Uncle Larry because Uncle Larry's going to pipe up about this or that, then don't call Uncle Larry. Okay.
Right?
I don't wonder if anyone out there has an Uncle Larry that
That's
complains all the time.
that whiner Uncle Larry.
Yeah, Uncle Larry, you're such a downer.
Right? All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
next
yeah,
year. Uncle Larry could wait till next year.
that's right. Yeah, and I just want everyone to know, you're not alone,
Right.
and sending everyone divine light and love for this whole week.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
right.
For the whole week. Let's just look at the week instead of going so far beyond into 2021 in the age of
Yeah,
Aquarius. Maybe, Tina, that's what I want to say. Let's just look at this
yeah,
week and
yeah,
celebrate us, empower ourselves, and
yeah,
let's just do that. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and Ev's here. Hi, Ev.
Yes.
Ev's
And thank you
Ev.
guys so much,
Ev,
Arlene. Thank you.
I think
Hi,
you're a
Ev.
lovely soul. Yeah, Ev's a lovely soul. And she says, thanks for the reminder to stay
Yes.
in the middle. The
Oh, she
people on either
is.
extreme are loud and overwhelming. They are making too much noise. Yes, because remember last night when we were talking, I said, I just feel like telling like all these people, excuse my language again, to shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
everyone just
And I
be quiet
agree.
this week? That's what I want for Christmas.
Right.
Everyone to just stop already. Stop with the conspiracy. Stop with Age of Aquarius
Yeah.
conjunction, la la, 3D,
Yeah.
4D, 5D. Like, just everyone just hush. I just want a
We'll
quiet
just
week. Okay,
stay
that's
there.
what I want
We'll
for
stay in the
Christmas.
middle. I'm
Stay.
with you. We'll stay in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yes.
everyone, much love and light to everyone, and
Yes.
peace and goodwill.
Yes.
Okay.
To everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks, Julie,
Thank.
for your wise words and
Oh,
yeah, everything you shared today. And those two that were in the conversation room and shared, like
yes.
that. We love that. We love that.
Oh,
We love it
yes.
when you guys.
Yes. I want this to be a
When,
community with all of us
mhm,
contributing. Who cares what
yeah,
I have to say? I
that's
want to
right.
hear what
Yeah,
you have to say.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Okay. Be well. Merry
Okay.
Christmas, everyone. Bye.
Bye.